All right, man. So we got Nick Longo on the podcast. He's been on before, friend of the show. We just spoke at your class, and you had some questions. We were going to talk about some stuff. I'm like, you know what? Let's just record it. We're going to talk about AI design. Why have a great conversation when nobody else is listening?
Why not, right? Let's do it. Yeah, I'm glad you reached out for this because I think I was left with not only a lot of questions, but also what can we do to have a project, have something in anyone's portfolio when it comes to AI.
Yep.
And you offered this really cool little outline of something you had done previously. And I thought, wouldn't that be a cool thing to do? Anyone could do it with a brand of their choice and have a slam dunk project or case study to show off.
Yeah. And what you're talking about is, I've spoken to a ton of agencies on AI. Every single agency is like, can you come talk to us, but don't tell anybody. Right? they want to play with. I just spoke to somebody today, this morning, and they're like, we're not recording, right? And I'm like, no, we're just talking. Like, what's up? And they're like, well, we want to play with it. We're just dipping our toes into this thing, but we can't really use it because we've got these MSAs that don't allow us to share anything. And if we're having conversations with AI online, and really we're releasing everything to the public. Like, yeah, I get it, but there's other ways that you can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where everybody's at. Like, everybody's afraid, they're ready to touch it, but not do it. So they don't do anything.
And this is the time to at least put your feet in and just kind of figure out if it's something you can use in the future,
Yeah.
Ever since our first conversation, and I'll share with you, probably I'll send you a few PDFs of stuff, but it has really been a game changer in putting it in my daily work with clients. And I'm probably doing it, a fraction of what maybe some big power users are doing, but it's just a way to exercise a faster, cleaner, more efficient way of working. And I also feel like I'm getting better results. They are happier clients.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of them know why, but they're just seeing an improvement and they're making note of it. And I just go, great, something's working.
And do you let them know up front that you're using AI in your process?
A little bit. It's all like feeling the room, like it's kind of like I can tell if someone's going to be 100% on board, right? That's number one. Two, I could tell if it's more back end stuff and things that I'm just using that maybe they're not even going to see in the flow.
Yep.
That's even better. But for artistically and maybe even copy, I'm being pretty transparent with it, particularly when there's the ones that are, this was kind of unique. This was one that we just did, and it was needed so quickly because the client got an okay from the printer that they could do it in a record time. But the only thing was they needed full artwork for a new beer can the next day. And what are you going to do when something like that comes up, right?
Yeah, there's no way you can generate this stuff.
I could have done something, but we would have relied on old stuff, or it would have looked the same old thing. And I think not only was it a slam dunk there, but it's selling like crazy because we were able to do something so cool and so different from, I think I talked when we were talking, I'm like, my biggest fear is I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And how do I get a new blood of work and a new kind of passion and vibe for something different that I technically would have designed months ago?
Yeah.
No,
that's the fear too, right? Is like, am I going to be doing the same old thing? And that's what's kind of interesting.
That'd be the first question I would say to anybody to ask yourselves. Do you attack a new project with the same kind of like, I don't know. You're the best critique of that. Are you doing the same thing over and over again? Maybe it's time.
Yeah. Did you carve out this path? Like, this is the way that I work. I do this step, then this step, then that step. And it's like, okay, well, if it's that predetermined for you as a designer, then the results are going to be, pretty recognizable. Like, you're going to know, like, okay, I'm going to start here. I'm going to get there. it'll look like this. Like, you need to spice it up a little bit. You got to surprise yourself as a designer too. You're not
There's a great way to say it.
Yeah. You're not just cranking it out. Or maybe you are, and then maybe this isn't the right gig for you, right?
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing is, the people that I feel embrace this are going to truly be those ones that are on the forefront, but also I would almost say you got nothing to worry about. Like this is kind of where it's going. We know that. And to me, it has been such a confidence booster in a lot of ways too, that I'm sitting here offering something that maybe I wouldn't have done months prior to that client if their timing was different with me.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. So, all right. So then spoke to your class. We talked about a project. The example I gave was, again, I went into an agency. I spoke to them. They had like, all right, we're going to have our entire agency just stop for an hour, and everybody's calling in from different offices. What do we need to be doing? Like, just kind of walk through the whole AI thing. I'm like, all right, well, before we do that, I'm like, why don't you send me a brief? Give me an old brief. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a current brief. Like, just send me an old brief. And actually, an old brief is better, right? Because now you've done all the work. You've gotten the results. The product's on shelf. So just send me the brief. Don't tell me what the product is, right? Like, don't give me any pictures of what it ended up looking like. Don't tell me the name. Just give me the thing. So I take that, I run it through chat. I ask it to like break down this brief and pull together just some terminology, some general aesthetic, look, feel terms. Then I bring that and I start throwing it into Midjourney. I take those images, then at that point in Midjourney, you can put it back. You put the image back in, get a prompt for it, take that prompt, put it back into chat, start kind of like just filtering it down.
Yeah.
And the concepts, right? I was asking for like packaging design concepts that hit these things. When I had the meeting with the agency, I was like, all right, well, let's talk about AI and let's do the whole thing. The very last thing that I did after I walked them through like what it was, how to use it, how do I use it in my workflow. I'm like, all right, so this is the brief you gave me. I still don't know what the product is, but here are the first 5 concepts that it turned out. And like the room was pretty stunned. And I wasn't sure if they were just like, this is stupid. It was bad. It was bad.
Could have gone either way, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like people aren't saying anything. You're like, oh man, like I just wasted their time. And they're like, this isn't too far from where we started, right? And I'm like, yeah, but this took maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
to kind of
God knows how long they took.
Exactly, and how many designers they used.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the thing is like you don't have to. What ends up on shelf doesn't have to be AI generated today, but you should be using it in your process. So how did that? So what did that spur in terms of a program or a project for your class?
Yeah, to me, we have 3 weeks left of this semester. Mm-hmm. I was trying to think of that third project to drop in there, and just for listeners kind of understanding, when we do a project, it's typically out of our 15 weeks, it could take 4 to 5, maybe 6. So they're basically producing a full case study for some kind of a branding project, right? Packaging. They did a whole trade show exposition thing. So they came up with a whole trade show idea, branded it, named it, did a pitch deck as if it was going to an investor for it. And that becomes their case study. Here we have just a few weeks left. And we're talking so much about AI through this process on the weekend, where we had a great talk on both sides of like the spectrum and everything. Then I was thinking, how do we get in a last minute project that has some bit of AI in it?
Yep.
But where I was thinking wrong was, okay, look at their current projects and like, can we weave AI into one of them in a way? And maybe you did the copy in there, or maybe your mood board was created in there. But then your idea of how you were saying it sounded so much more compelling and so much more of I'm not letting AI hide in the shadows of this project. We're putting it in the forefront. And it is like, here's how it could work. And here, client or possible employee, when they go out there searching for a job in 5 months, here's how I can use it and improve your whole process, your whole flow, streamline and get better results. And I can bring that quality to you. And I'm like, that's what everybody's going to want in a young talent right now.
100%, right? Like most people out there our age are not digging into our age. I mean, you're a lot older than I am, but yeah. But no, like, most people aren't embracing this, People are looking, whenever I speak to an audience, they're like, well, we've got this young designer, we've got this young intern, we've got these. It's like, well, why aren't you doing it? Well, I've got a family, I don't have time for this. Like, all right, well, if that's the way that the agencies are looking at it, that's the way the brands are looking at it, then the students need to like dig in and really kind of start that. I just had a conversation with Aalto University in Finland with their group, and it's like, okay, you're about to graduate. What are you doing next?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I don't know, It's like you should know what agencies you want to work at, what brands you want to work at. If you've got time to repurpose your existing projects to target that agency, that brand, that product, then now's the time to do it. And if you got this last project, like, yeah, if you want to go work at Yeti, if you want to go work at, Apple or whatever, build something with AI together specific for that brand and knock on their doors, post it on LinkedIn, tag the brands, tag the creative director, tag the art director, and be like, hey, I'm graduating in May. This is my last project. I'd love to get your feedback. Right. Cause
that's all you're asking.
Dude. And that's like the secret weapon, right? Is when you're a student and you say, I'm a student, everybody stops. Like, oh yeah, let me help you, young student.
Especially if you enter the room that way by saying like, I'd love your opinion on this, or can you take a look at it? It's your company, and that's a sneaky way in. And yet it looks friendly, and anyone's going to probably, if they're a just half decent person, they're gonna be like, of course, let's take a look. But what if you knock their socks off with something, right? It's the Trojan horse. You've just gone in there with AI.
100%. That was, talking to the students last night at Aalto, it was like, if you're showing your portfolio, like you're a salesperson. I know every designer does not want to be a salesperson. Like I'm not a salesperson. I'm creative. You've got to sell. Your product has to sell. So you're right. This is like a Trojan horse, but it's going to get you in front of the right people instantly when they're not guarded. Right. And they're going to be like, oh yeah, great work here. How'd you do this? And all of a sudden you're talking to the brand that you want to be talking to without having had an interview. And I mean, how many other people did you just cut in front of?
There you go. That's it. Because you might even be, who's to say there's not even an opening with that company at that time, but you've gotten in, you've made a huge impact on them. Who knows what they could do now in budget or whatever and even if it's 6 months down the road or whatever, you've made that introduction, you've made that impact with them. And I want to do this. I want to do this as well. When a new client comes on board and there's a rebrand involved with the client, we could do the same thing. We can go backwards and look at what their previous one was and find some of the loopholes, find some of, particularly if they want any lineage with the brand, right? Like, a lot of times like, we don't want to lose too much, right? We still want to stay in this space. So I'm assuming this process and this little like hack can almost do that same thing, because it's going to go through, narrow it down, spit out something, and see, maybe even in more today's time, let's say it's a few years difference between the rebrands, you've got an incredibly powerful kind of proposition there with that.
No, that's awesome, man. So how do you think you should prep this to present it to the students? Like what's their first step and what's their last step?
Cool. First step is obviously picking the company, because I'm assuming too, we've got to find a company that has the brief, maybe in some way, shape or form online, or I'm assuming that would be like the first thing, right?
Yeah. You can, okay. So if the first thing is to get the brief, you can go to chat.openai.com, which is actually not 100% working today.
I heard that
Sam Altman got fired.
What a drama. Oh
yeah, that was amazing. And then he got asked back, and then Microsoft's like, no, 600
he got asked back.
Yeah, they asked him back. The guy, the lead AI guy, is like, I'm really sorry that this happened, even though he's the one that brought it up.
Of course.
600 of the 700 employees at OpenAI is like, we're going to leave. Microsoft, who owns 49% of it, basically scooped them up, and the 600 people that are leaving would probably go to Microsoft. So immediately, Microsoft now basically owns OpenAI, right?
Wow.
They've got the brains behind it. They've got the team behind it. And they've left
ultimate
OpenAI
chess game
with nothing.
God, that's crazy.
Nuts.
Okay, so that's good to know. So what were you going to say about like
reverse engineering the brief?
Yeah.
So if you want the brief, take the packaging, take pictures of the packaging. You can upload those to ChatGPT, ask it to reverse engineer a brief for this product.
Nice.
And it does an amazing job. You can be really specific. You can ask it for demographics, psychographics, and it'll do that.
Even the free one, or do we have to go to the paid one?
I don't know if it does. I'm assuming it would do it on the free one. I do the paid one. And if anybody's using the paid one, they can go on. They can find me. I think I've dropped some links on some GPTs that I created that are like reverse brief engineers also.
Nice. So I might even just purchase the subscription one for all of them to do this. Just why not?
Yeah.
Like I've been wanting to do that, and people like you and others have convinced me that if I'm doing this great on the free one, I can only imagine what a benefit it would be, right?
Yeah. No, and now you can build. You can upload PDFs. So if you're a student, you can upload a PDF of your entire portfolio of your style. You can upload it and have it give you feedback, right? You can, you got to be nice and sexy with ChatGPT. I'll be like, hey,
you're an amazing design professor or professional, 100%. Right?
Yeah, you have to do that. And be like, okay, you worked under,
all these famous
you worked
designers.
With Michael Beirut, and you studied under Dieter Rams, and give it some context of this life that has never happened. And that's the feedback that I want.
Nice. So we're going to do either photography of samples. Maybe we can find a flat layout or a PDF of it that way. Right. What if there's a case study of it on maybe the designer or the agency site? We can obviously copy a lot of that text too.
Yeah. You can plug that into chat along with the image. Here's some information on this pack. Give me it depends on who you are. Like, I remember Michael Osborne Design always said, I just want a 1-sentence brief. He's like, I got time for a full 3 pages. I just need 1 sentence. But you can ask it for a 1-sentence brief. You can ask it for, all right, give me, who's the target audience? Who's the, what cities do these people live in? What socioeconomic level are they at? Whatever it is that you're trying to then get out of this brief and then build something back into. The more information, the better, because then you can kind of parse it down. But
cool. So it would be almost any questions we would ask on our brand questionnaire to a new client, right?
100%.
Same thing. What's the voice? What's the personality? What's the archetype, right? Like all those different things. And once we so let's say we've done that now, and we've got the data, it's given us back answers for everything that we wanted to do. What's our next move there?
So then what's the last step, right? What's the goal at the end?
To show a better solution that side by side, not only I think looks better, but you'd have some takeaway rationale to say why it's better. So I remember you and I were talking about was it the popsicle, the good pops or someone like that? The idea that you can look at it and be like fresher. It was more lighter. It looked more organic or whatever it might be. So what are those takeaway positive additions we've added to make this brand better? And that would be an incredible case study. I think that'd be my end result.
Awesome. So then if that's where we want to go, then not only are you building the brief, now you can take that, you can go into Midjourney, put together some general concepts. You can, drill down a color palette, or ask it, for this particular, it's like you're less designing and more pulling information out.
Correct.
Which is what's important, because I think that's what you're going to have to do as you can continue to design with AI, is just learn how to do this. you know, our serifs better, our sans serifs better for this particular audience. Getting that information as you're kind of gathering all the data. Then you take your combination of AI, bring that into Photoshop. You can even ask it to build, ask Midjourney to build you a mock-up of a box for XYZ, which is like a white, nice box.
Yeah.
Throw that into Photoshop, start imaging it up. Take that image with all your graphics and your copy. You can use keeping that same thread open in chat. Ask it to write copy for the specifics.
Yeah.
And then as you piece it together, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't be ready. Upload that. And say, okay, compare this one with this one, and how is this one better? How is the other one? How's the first one better? And keep it. Better is subjective, but keeping it so broad gives chat the opportunity to just tell you everything.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like someone, again, it's like it's going to surprise you. So it might come back and say, oh, your tagline's too big, but a consumer in this area might really be more interested in the flavor and the allergens.
Okay. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. So there you go, like kind of repurposing, redesigning on the fly, getting immediate feedback. Make those adjustments, put it back in. Maybe you've got too broad of color where this color blocking doesn't necessarily speak to this particular audience. And it's fine tuning. It's like working with an art director. That's not really an art director.
Yeah.
But it's helping you kind of just look at things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time you're done, when you get to that end state, you can show the progression of this is where they were. This is where I started. This was the brief that it built. Here are the steps. And then this is why this one's better, because for this particular market, they have difficulty reading white on yellow. So we went with black, and, we wanted to focus on the allergens and the, calorie, whatever the purpose is there.
Whatever the target market's looking for.
Yeah. Whatever they're looking for.
Yeah.
I know I uploaded one. I just pulled an image off of off the die line. I think it was an alcoholic seltzer. I think it was like Happy Days or Sunny Days or something like that. Sunny Fridays or something like that.
Yeah.
And, uploaded it and just like, hey, can you just give me some feedback on this pack? How does this work and how does this not work? And it's like, Sunny Fridays, does it make it feel like you can only drink this on Fridays, or is it making you feel like any day that you drink this is a Friday? It's just it's just asking questions. It's not telling you one way or another. You're like,
and that's what it's
cool.
literally shooting back to you. Yeah. Like, because you're saying analyze this. What's that first question you ask when you upload the images of, let's say, the one in question?
Yeah, it sucks that I can't get my history on chat today because it's not functioning of all days.
That's right.
Yeah. But so if I upload something, I would ask it, okay, I'd probably say, like, how can we improve this design to sell through? Right. Once I have the brief and I know a target is like 21 to 35 in the suburbs. All right. So how can we improve the sell through of this pack for 21 to 35 year olds in the suburbs of Chicago, whatever.
Gotcha.
Then it'll come back and, start. If this is behind glass, this contrast isn't high enough in order for it to be legible, right? If it's like in a refrigerated section
or something. Yeah.
It is insane. You just upload it, ask it just to all right, how do you improve sell through? And you're not even thinking that far down the road. And it's like, oh, you're gonna have issues here. This stuff's not legible. This is probably less important than this one. This is in question, and you're, pretty much mind blown. Like,
I was just thinking too, you don't even need the actual brief. You could actually make one up to say, or who the persona is. Let's say you're taking a very classy drink, alcoholic beverage, whatever it might be, and you want to make it more of the everyday person's more casual thing. So it's like you're plugging in, I want to now change this to the lower cost weekend warrior, whatever it might be, right? And okay, so like you don't even need to have what they wanted, because the whole exercise here is what you can do, not that it has to just be an improvement on what the agency did.
No, right. And the but I would say like even just from and this is what I throw out to some of the agencies too, is like when you're working, you build a brief and you're putting designs together. Like you can just run those concepts through chat and say, build me a brief. Take a look at that brief and take a look at your brief. Are they,
Are they in line?
Are they in line?
Yeah,
Are they completely different? It's like, oh no, this is for somebody in South America. And you're like, oh shit, this is for Chicago.
There you go. So let's say we've done this. Again, now when we've got all the feedback from ChatGPT at the very beginning, we've uploaded everything. And let's say we've got, paragraphs and paragraphs of the content of how they've broken this down and what this new brief's going to be. When we go to Midjourney, I think where I see the biggest disconnect is now, how do we, like you and I were talking on Saturday, it doesn't ChatGPT keeps a history in that thread, right? Yep. Whereas Midjourney doesn't. How are you plugging in so much content that you got in the brief to this Midjourney image that you want to get? Is it step by step? Is it kind of like, do you take the top line stuff and then keep going?
Yeah. So that's where we want to kind of manage chat and be like, all right, give me a 2-sentence something.
Okay.
Give me keeping it tight. But then now that you've gotten all the information, you've kind of pieced it like where everything fits together. You can now ask it, all right, I'm going to build, because if you're using the paid chat, you can now generate images in chat as well.
And what does it use? Dolly?
It uses Dolly.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can say, all right, give me a prompt to generate an image that is in line with this brief.
Okay.
Just to see it may come back as garbage. It may come back as amazing. But at least it's a starting point. You can take that image that it gives you. If it's good, you can take the image, put it into Midjourney, have it reverse, give you the prompt. And I can't recall what that, I can't even recall what that stuff is anymore. Now it's like shortcuts in Photoshop, right? When you've been in Photoshop for so long, you don't even know where the stuff is in the menu.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's like, you go in there, put the image, have it give you a reverse prompt. Then you take a look at the prompt. Does that prompt make sense with what you're asking for? Maybe you can start fine tuning some of the things in the prompt. If you're doing packaging design, then packaging design is like the first thing. If it's like structural design, then that goes up front. You still want to kind of organize your thoughts. Gotcha. What is the idea of, where do you want to take this? Is this like astronaut ice cream? Does it need to be fluffy? Kind of those examples I gave of Chris Branch's work, on his Kellogg stuff.
Yeah.
Like if that's the ultimate, then he built that out of multiple components. It's not just one prompt. It's a box. It's illustration. It's bringing it into Photoshop and kind of putting all these different things together. The other thing, the new thing, is Hypersketch. So you can take these images, put them in, drop them on your iPad, and then trace over them, hide the image, take that tracing where you've kind of organized the hierarchy of information and logos and kind of images, run it through Hypersketch. Hypersketch will then skin your sketch in like 9 different styles.
Oh,
and they even have packaging design as a prompt in there.
And that's Hypersketch.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's giving you you're putting in a blueprint basically and saying build on this rather than sky's the limit. Just match my vibe. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you don't, and it's not necessarily going to give you like the most amazing image.
Yeah.
But from a process standpoint of being able to sketch and skin and then take that and put that into Midjourney, bring that into Photoshop, start compiling different things. It's just another tool. Yeah, it's not going to work for everybody, but I think for some people you'd be like, oh wow, this is cool. Like for me, I sketch super fast and I'm super efficient with it.
Yeah.
If I can just skin it, then I'm like, oh crap, is this what you mean? And they're like, holy crap, that's totally it.
Especially if it's so demanding of like, it has to have this color bar on top and it has to have the text vertically on the side or whatever it might be. Right. Like, yeah, it's starting from so much more of a structure rather than just whatever you want to make Midjourney. Like,
yeah, no, for
that's
sure.
amazing. So then we've put the prompts and I like what you said. After you've done all that, you narrow it down and try to ask ChatGPT to say, put this in 2 sentences, right?
Yep.
And it tries its best to make sure everything is represented from what we had.
Yep.
And then we start trying those out. Let's say prompting it in our Midjourney or wherever we're using, and that's where we get our first visuals to see how we're looking, right? And I'm assuming too that's going to start. Is it going to think? Do we have to tell it to pick a form, or is it, because if we say box, it's going to make a box, right? But if we just say packaging, does it can start to consider what might be the best for our prompt?
It's probably not going to consider what's best for your prompt. It'll just create what is the wildest solution, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
But I was just doing some prompts before we got on the call for Ferrari men's cologne packaging.
Yeah.
Right. And it was super basic, packaging design, packaging innovations, packaging structures. Like those were the first set of words for multiple prompts that I did. And then I think like the second one was, let me pull it up here actually. The second set of words after the first comma was like, race inspired, automotive inspired, right? Like keeping it like just super basic.
Yeah.
It's like, packaging innovations, industrial design, interactive inserts inspired by Ferrari motor vehicle, fast, and then ending it with packaging design. Right. So it kind of on its own, it kind of meshed suitcases and a Ferrari grill and nothing useful. Yeah, completely useless.
It was. Where did men's cologne go? Did you have that in there? Was that up front or?
Let me see if I can share this here.
Because I'm always curious when I'm in that zone of what to say first. I think it's like I would have said like, men's cologne bottle, comma, like right like that. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this, this is kind of where I started.
Oh wow, that top left is gorgeous.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool, right? You get a sense of Ferrari because it's red.
Yeah.
But it's like packaging innovation for Ferrari brand cologne for men, right? And then packaging design.
Nice.
Just keeping it as simple as possible. Then packaging innovation, rigid box, basically a Ferrari. Right.
It went completely different on that. Now, did you do for that second one? Was that did you hit the circular arrow thing to say?
Nope. I just started again.
No, totally do. Okay.
Yeah. So the way I do it is, I'll start. I'll type them in, and because this is the way that I write. Also,
yes,
is I just want to get the ideas out. Okay. I might write a paragraph or 2 sentences. Like if I'm writing copy, then I'll just start another section and start writing that, and I kind of piece it together. But it's all trying to say the same thing. And then what I'll do is I'll review it all and go, okay, here's the point I'm trying to make on this section. Here's the point I'm trying to make that one. And I kind of blend them together, edit it. And that's kind of the same thing here. So I started pretty simple with packaging innovation for Ferrari brand cologne for men, packaging design. If I don't put packaging design, I'm probably not going to get any visuals that I'm excited about. It's like the color, the red, the logo.
Yeah.
This one I got a little bit deeper, not great, but I'm just testing words. And then this one I'm like, all right, let me go all the way back and just simplify it. Like, what does it think of Ferrari cologne? It immediately puts it in a bottle, right? Yeah. There's no boxes. I'm getting the horse, but other than that, it's red, yellow, and it's getting Ferrari.
Yeah. Without anything too specific, but it feels like shapes and the chiseled kind of glass feel appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty straightforward. So I'm, you can't see my screen, but I'm on chat right now. I'm going to ask it to write me a prompt.
Okay. For the same thing here, you're just asking for it to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, write me a prompt for Ferrari men's cologne bottle and box design that needs to be innovative in structure from the point of view.
It's almost like you feel you can be a little more conversational with ChatGPT at saying, write me a prompt like this.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's going to give you, it's going to know the proper structure and maybe order.
Yeah, it should be pretty good. Of course, it's not working great today, so it's just sitting there. Nope, something went wrong.
Is this happening for everybody?
It must be, and I've got the paid service. But let's see what happens here if I go to my buddy Pi.
Oh yeah, they are experiencing exceptional high demand.
Yeah,
it's more like
everybody's like,
there's no one on the other end to take care of your prompt right now.
Everybody quit. There was really some guy on the back end that was just typing the answers to everybody.
Yeah. They're like, it's Thanksgiving week, guys. We're Oh, now that's got to be a huge. I can't imagine that people will jump ship the minute they go, oh, we have to go to the Microsoft thing now to continue here. There's no loyalty, right? Like
no.
This is amazing. Like that's kind of sad that like it could be that drastic, but you go where it's going to work for you.
Yeah. The issue is a lot of these companies are, that have popped up are using OpenAI.
Yeah.
On the back end.
Wow.
So like, what happens to those guys? But yeah. I use Pi. I don't know if you use Pi. So let's see. Let's ask her.
Is that an app?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Pi, how's it going?
Hey, Evelio, all is groovy over here. Just chilling in the cloud, processing information and stuff. So tell me about these transitions. Are we talking choppy or clunky or something else?
Oh, I'm going to start a whole new conversation with you. Can you write me a prompt for, I want to use Midjourney text to image generator, and I'm trying to get some really cool, innovative Ferrari inspired packaging design for men's cologne.
Oh, sounds like a hot project. Here's a prompt that should get the creative juices flowing.
That's the one.
Futuristic Ferrari packaging design, sleek curves, metallic accents, bold logo, lightning fast aesthetics. Now, let Midjourney work its magic and whip up some automotive packaging awesomeness.
All right, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, right? So I'm going to take that. I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to paste it.
Now, is it using Midjourney? I'm sorry, was that using ChatGPT or is that their own thing?
I think this is built on OpenAI, right? Gotcha. But it's its own thing.
Oh, dude, it's a beautiful interface. Wow.
Dude, it's crazy.
Oh, man, you got to stop telling me these things, dude.
It's like impossible to sleep these days.
Yeah, this is great.
All right, so I put her prompt in here. Her prompt, right? It's a bot, but
I have to keep you in the loop.
Yeah, so I've got kids. I got a 10-year-old, 11-year-old now. She was studying for Latin quizzes. And I'm like, all right, well, let's use Pi, and I had her put in all of her vocabulary, her Latin vocab and stuff, and then just asking it to test.
Wow.
Having it quiz her on it. And it's, that voice with like that sense of humor. And it's like, hey, what do you do this? And she would get something wrong. It's like, oh man, you're so close. Like
it's better than like any tutor you could find.
Dude, it's better than me.
Yeah,
right? Because I lose my patience. I'd be like, how do you not know this?
Of course. Oh, the sanity. Yeah. It's like that's amazing. Well, look at that. So that took a funky different approach.
Completely.
And I think you even got more of like a transformer-ish vibe on that bottom left one.
On that bottom, yeah. But this one's pretty cool. And what you're getting here is you're getting this futuristic right? You're getting the sleek curves. So now you can kind of back out and reuse this prompt, but maybe get rid of,
like if you say sleek curves, that you take that out, you're probably going to get more something like the ones above, right? These made them so much more like hood and like body panel style.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So this is your method. You're basically trying out in and out of words and things like that to see how it works. And what
Yeah,
it
this,
does.
yeah. And you know, and I've got, you know, and I've got a list of prompts that I've used in the past. I know where I'm going to get like general shapes and stuff like that. So I might go and pull some of that. Now that as I start refining some of these words,
Yeah.
I'll go find those words. I'll put them together. I can then, you know, maybe I like, so like this one that's popping up here in the top left. It's got a
It's like
head on
Iron
it.
Man meets
Yeah.
meets Ferrari.
So I'm going to make this, that one up. We'll make it large.
Love that. That top right one even looks pretty cool too. Like that just all black one.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a nice set, you know, so like leather, and we got this one here. Now we're going to go ahead and vary by region. Right. So here,
oh,
I'm going
okay.
to select this.
This is new. Okay. So I haven't, is this on, this is just the regular paid Midjourney, right?
Yep.
So you're basically,
so I'm just selecting selecting the head. I'm going to go ahead and change it to, let's just do flames.
Gotcha.
So let's see what happens there. But yeah, so you can kind of fine tune some of the stuff. You can bring this into Photoshop. You can have it eliminate the background, replace the background. Just put a white background and then bring this back into Midjourney, create a whole new background for it, combine those two pieces.
So you just did the region, right? And that gave you the kind of checkerboard area, right?
Yep, 100%.
Now, very strong and very subtle. What do those do?
So if you're doing these, then it's going to vary this whole image.
Ah, okay.
Right. So maybe I'm going to do like,
oh, you could say more watercolor. Like if you say very, okay, gotcha. And then subtle, just a little bit of watercolor, basically.
Yeah. So we'll do, So I did blue for very strong, and I'm going to do blue for very subtle. And we can see how those changes kind of look.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then these are the results for the flame pinstripes. Nice. Yeah. This kind of gets a sense of what I was thinking, but I wasn't really, we're not kind of digging into this too much, but
it keeps wanting to add a camera. It's a phone too, as well as a men's cologne.
So this one is, this is the,
Oh, wow.
So very, very strong is completely new. It has a general sense, same feel, right? We've got like this shape of that head. But it's blue. Wow. Then the one that I said very subtle with blue just added like a blue highlight or blue eyes or blue lines.
Yeah, like there's almost a light on it and it's reflecting in a blue shade there. That's really cool. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Now, can you do, if you did can you say different angle? Can you say, like, I know a lot of times I'm always trying to get something a little bit more straight on. Maybe it's like too much of an aerial camera view. What would you do to kind of mimic that in some of these?
If you want to get a front view.
Yeah.
So like, let's go ahead and we'll just copy. I like to copy this.
Same.
And paste it. You can do the re-roll.
Yeah.
But it always feels like it's stuck in that same rut. But if you just put in new words, then you're going to get started.
Clean start. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And we wanted to get front view, right? So front view, low camera angle. Let's see what happens.
Gotcha. There we go.
And for the most part, like I don't get too deep into like the camera and the lighting. because my goal isn't the final result to be like, hey, this is perfect, right? It's more like I could show you these things in, these Ferrari directions, which are completely terrible in terms of a direction, and be like, all right, is it this one? Is this kind of what you're talking about?
Yes.
To get feedback, so then I can actually go back and design something, right?
I agree.
But yeah, so like this one, it's front view, low camera angle.
Let's just drop in a car.
The one that's low view, front camera angle, that has a car in front of it. The other ones are 3/4 view, but they are low.
The top left is definitely a lower one.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. So then here's where you're at. You've done this whole thing. You've gotten the brief kind of recalculated and narrowed down to something a little bit smaller. You start messing around with it in Midjourney or whatever you're using. And now when you get one that you truly like, I'm assuming that's the first one that you save. And then are you experimenting even more? Do you want to show multiple options in this way? Or are you really, is the end goal to have that one and say like, here's the best I got? Like, do you know?
So definitely the goal is to get multiple options. But again, when I'm using it to be able to go back to the client and be like, all right, is this kind of what you're talking about? Like, we're just trying to narrow things down.
Yeah.
Where these are going into a mood board, right, to kind of narrow things down. When I use the chat to reverse engineer a brief, when I'm building the prompts from it, it's more to show how you can potentially use these things, right? It's not the way that I use it on a day-to-day basis. But it's the way that, like, I think if you can see like all the potential, all the different ways that you can use it, you start going, wow, how am I not using it to do anything? I can do so much.
So I love that goal. It's kind of like, again, you're doing this as an exercise, obviously, right? It's more of that first. And it's to show the variety of things that we could do that are all under this refined brief that we feel like is now a better solution than the previous one.
Yep.
And then side by side, are you showing it with like the current?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the results that you got. These are the results that AI got. And you have to be sensitive to when you're presenting this.
Yeah.
Right. If your students are doing this as part of their process, then if you're sharing on social, reaching out to the designers, reaching out to the brand, I'm a student, we're testing AI, blah, blah, blah. Right. But if you're sitting across from somebody and you're showing your portfolio and you're like, well, I used AI to generate this and it's better than yours. Right. It's like, that's where you have to be sensitive, because the people that you're talking to, one, may have not worked on it, may have inherited it. They may hate it as well.
Yeah.
Or they may have spent years developing it, going through the struggles of getting things approved. Right. And they don't want somebody coming in going, hey, AI can do as well as you did.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, obviously know who you are talking to. I think the best thing to do is like, just almost put the objective out there that here's what we landed with, like, not, it's so much better. Right. Or trying to make there should be no end kind of result here, but I think sometimes the work will speak for itself. And if the person on the other end can appreciate that, then I think it's done its job, Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're able to, as a graduating student, talk about how you explored the combination of AI to get results.
Yeah.
Right. Where you're kind of an adventurer here. You're testing things out. Then on the opposite side of the table, you're like, oh, wow, what can they do for us? How can, and this is what I tell students too. It's like, nobody cares about you, right? It sucks. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. I tell my kids this. I'm like, nobody cares about you. Right? It's what can you do for them, right? When you're sitting across the table from a client, from a brand, from an agency, from someone that's going to hire you, they want to know what you can do for them, and they want to think of like how they can plug you into their machine to, 10x their business. Not that nobody cares about my kids, but when my kid's crying on the softball field, it's like, yeah, dude, nobody cares about the drama. Get on the field, get off the field.
Mm-hmm.
You're here to win, or you're here to have fun, whatever it is. Just, nobody cares.
How can you win the game for me is what we want to know, right?
Yeah, that's what the team is thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what the employer, the hire, whoever the person is that you're trying to do. I love that idea. Like, question for you, like, so packaging design is the perfect, I think, case study for this as well. But I was even thinking, I mean, could you do things as dynamic as shoe design, car design, advertisement, a billboard,
Mhm.
Social media graphics, same idea. I'm assuming what we'll get, because I've tried all those in Midjourney. Would it work?
Have you tried them in Canva?
What do you mean?
So Canva's got image generation now for all of this stuff.
Oh, true.
Not that
Yeah.
I'm promoting Canva.
Sir, yeah,
as a
I
designer.
can't technically say the word.
But those guys are embracing AI from copywriting, image generation, video generation. It's crazy. It's a race all in one app, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got, vertical social media posts, you can change the same design a million different ways with AI, and then schedule it however you need to. It can update the copy. It can update, we're going to post this in Indonesia. So it's got like an Indonesian flair to it. We're going to do this in New York. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What used to take days can,
Yeah. I love it for the idea of like campaigns that have to be in different languages, different regions, maybe seasonal overlays, whatever it might be, right? And then how it could take that content and just maximize your efficiencies beyond belief, right? And then post it the same way. You schedule it and all that. But the idea that we just did with the reverse engineering, you could do that with any other form of design. It does not have to just be the packaging design that we were talking
100%.
about. Yeah. So like we could take a billboard, an advertisement, something really incredible. Even maybe I'm assuming a website as well too. Like, I mean, you were just
100%.
saying that your portfolio.
Yeah. That's I think for next year, when your students show up,
I'm exhausted already thinking about it.
It's like, you got to run your portfolio through AI. Here's the creative director that you're running it through is this AI model.
I wonder too, like, and all you have to do at that point is just enter the URL.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
As long as you're, as long as it's,
I want you to analyze, and you'll say upload that, and then you can. I'm sure it'll ask, what do you want me to tell you, right?
Yep. So yeah, so you can different AI interfaces will allow you to go online. And man, I can't believe that today is the day the chat doesn't work.
Yeah. We'll try it.
Yeah, but there's a variety of them that will do that. With ChatGPT, I'll send you the link to my GPTs when you guys decide to pay for the upgraded version.
Oh yes.
Then you can go in there. I've got like 4 that I've built. Some are like creative director in your pocket. There's art director. There's a brief creator. There's all these different things that I'm just goofing around with. I'm just gathering information, just plugging it in, building some prompts of things that it can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's taken, 10, 15 minutes to build something that's pretty damn good.
And it's all off the back end of what they offer, and you are crafting and basically organizing it to something custom.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And you can use it privately, or you can share it publicly.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get the paid one, because I think it would be obviously more beneficial just for me, but I want to use it in the class. So we're going to identify either the brand or the packaging of an existing thing. We are going to take pictures of it, do whatever. I'm assuming too, like, you can do multiple pictures. You can do front, back, side, all that kind of stuff, right? Make sure obviously text is legible and things like that, right? Scan it in, get it into ChatGPT, ask it to basically summarize what this was, right? That's our goal. We want to summarize. But then we say, write the creative brief under a new tone. Like we can say, now we want to do it. We want to improve on this, or we want to go to a different target market, or whatever it might be. Rewrite the creative brief and then narrow it down to that like 2-sentence kind of thing, right?
Yeah, 100%. Right. It can be, you can take packaging from the 1940s, create a brief from that, and all right, now let's make this for today, or take something from today and redesign it for the 20s, right? Like, I mean, you can have fun and push as far as possible. Because again, when that student's sitting across the table from a potential employer, you want to blow their minds, where they're like, holy crap, how did this kid just do all of these things, right? And we're not supposed to call graduates kids, but when you're old, that's what they call them, right?
Yeah.
Anybody that's under 30 is a kid. But it's like, like how do they do that? Like how do they process this? And then having, being, when you're across the table from somebody, having a laptop that's on Wi-Fi and being like, oh, well, here's kind of how I do it, right? Like just showing brief snippets of how you process it blows everybody's mind. They want to know more. And you're like, all right, man, that's our time. I appreciate you having me in here. And they're like, wait. I've got more questions.
More. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a good tip would be too, to pick someone you want to work for or work with, right? Pick
Always,
that brand of something you're passionate about that would be on your dream list.
Yep. Because right now is the time. Right now is the time.
Yeah.
Right now is the time where every single brand is looking for innovation, efficiency, and people that are not afraid to get into AI so that they can come in and help them figure it out.
I love it. Yeah, man.
So
there we go.
Good stuff, man.
I
can't wait to see the work that you guys come up with. I will
report back. And again, like you said, build this case study very differently than your typical ones where you're just showing off your design and your design sense. This is really a report. It's, it's kind of a slide or a presentation in a lot of ways, a pitch. So showing the nitty gritty, showing the steps, I think would be really unique. Maybe not the whole secret sauce, but like enough to show top line A, B, C, D final, where somebody watching this is like, wow, this person gets it. Exactly.
Or, holy crap, I can't do that. And that's what you want.
And I don't think not a lot of people can be expecting this from just, I don't want to say just a designer, but if that's all that's what you went to school for, and that's who you are now adding this whole other layer on top of who you are that doesn't have to go to somebody else. It's you doing it and then coming up with the design solutions.
Yeah. And I would say from a salary negotiation standpoint, now you're not being hired to be designer X to fill that role in that desk.
Wow. Good point.
Now you're bringing innovation, you're bringing efficiency. I can come in here, I can help change this entire department to, be in the 21st century. Like, oh, wow, I can either hire this person or somebody that's not doing that for the same rate. I'd probably want to take this person for a little bit more,
Exactly. Wow. It is adding a whole other layer. It really is. Like, why not? If you are trying to stand out in some way, shape, or form as a job hunter, a freelance designer, promotion, I think we've just laid out an incredible way to kind of test the waters and see how you can up your next move. That's great.
Awesome, man.
All right.
So I can't wait to see the stuff these guys come up with.
Oh, I'll be doing this over the weekend with some of my old work. Are you kidding me? I'm going to try to do the test through and maybe record a few things. That way, when we dive into it, I think we'll do this more like in sessions. So it'll be neat to see how everybody, does each step. Because I think you can with this one. There's nothing holding you back. I think a lot of times in a class project, it's hard because everyone's coming from a different maybe skill set or doesn't know this program as well or whatever it might be. What I love about this is you need two things. You need these two apps and a Wi-Fi and you're good.
Yeah.
Like, can't wait. All right.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, dude, I'm going to go ahead and stop this.